Always.
One thing I did notice is that for a 24-inch drawer base, the slides are coming in at 22 inches, and we use 20-inch slides. That's odd.
Okay. You know, I have heard of that before, so we can switch that. Let's go ahead and go to your assembly tab.
Okay, I have something else that ties in with that. If you're gonna like change it to, also our countertops are coming in 25 inches deep instead of 25 and a half. I don't know if that's a big deal or not.
Are you recording?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect.
All right, so let's hit our open folder. Actually, hit the main folder itself for me. And go to where it says assembly category, that red drop down. There you go. And scroll to the bottom. And let's go to drawer box. Yep. And click search. And go ahead and click OK. So is this for across the board?
Well, I just noticed, I happened to, because I printed out everything and I actually put it in front of our materials guy and said, why do you got 22-inch slides in here? I was like, oh, I don't know why.
All right. So let's go to the very top one where it says drawer box. Hit the plus sign and open that up for me. So right there where it says US Futaba full extension slide 22. You don't do a 22 at all, right?
Unless it would be a 26-inch deep. I mean, basically, yeah.
What if it was 26? Would you not use a 24?
I think we keep all our, I think we do keep them at 20 inches, even if it's a deep cabinet. So yeah, unless they.
Okay. So let's go ahead and double click on that, and we're going to replace it with a 20-inch. Double click it, perfect, and click OK. And do the same with the one below that. Okay. And then over on the right where it says our slide length 22 formula, can you double click on that one for me? Nope, you were right there. The formula's right there to your right. Yeah, just double click it. I need to read it. So slide length is greater than 22. And less than 24. I almost want to change this. If subassembly depth is greater than 22 and subassembly depth, we want it to be a 20-inch. So do I want to make that if subassembly depth is greater than 20? Hit cancel. I want to see the other one.
This one?
Mm-hmm. So I almost think we want to just rename the 22 one and make it, you know, it goes up to like 26, right? Because you would use a 20 no matter what.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So go ahead and say OK to that one. And let's open up that one again. And we're going to let's do a save as at the bottom. And let's call it 22-24. And click OK. And then we're going to change that where it says if subassembly depth 22 and subassembly depth length is go to 26.
Over here?
Uh-huh. Because we wanted to do that no matter what. And I almost want to make this first one say 21, right? Because we're basically doing anything above a 20. So let's make 21. Greater than or equal to 21. Perfect. Click check formula for me. Perfect. Say OK. And we're going to just right click on that formula. No, we don't need to change this one. We're going to just replace both of them. So where it says assign at the bottom there, and say formula. And we're going to look for that formula we just made, which is right above you. Click OK. And we're going to do the same for the one above that. Click OK. All right, close it up and save it and close it again. All right, let's look at the one below it. Open that one up for me. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing. We'll just double click on those and replace them with the 20s. And then we just replace those two formulas with our 22. Yep. Okay. Now the file boxes, you use the same ones, you use the hundreds there too. Would you do it for a file box or would you use a 22 for a file?
It'd still be a 20.
Okay, so let's switch those the same then. I'm gonna eat my bananas and peaches while you're doing that.
Okay, I'm eating Skittles.
Taste the rainbow, girlfriend.
Yep.
What were you eating the other day that made me so want to eat that with you?
I don't know.
Tootsie Roll. Tootsie Roll. Weren't you eating Tootsie Rolls the other day?
Nope, wasn't me.
Hmm.
And the same thing here?
Yep, they're all the same hundreds. You use them for all of them, so we'll switch them out. And then we're going to go and we're going to play with your job spec real quick. All right, so now go up to the edit. Sorry, define, I apologize. Job spec, and then go to setup and configuration. Taking forever.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the weather like there?
Overcast, and we're supposed to get some storms.
Yeah, it was thundering really bad here yesterday.
Holy good, what's going on here?
It's thinking hard while it's opening up that job spec apparently. Click something with your mouse on your screen. Just click it. Still nothing, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's thinking really hard. Oh, it stopped. So is it behind you or on your other screen?
Nope.
Click on the actual icon at the bottom that's Project Pack. You did the Ring Central one. Go to the other one. There it is.
All right.
Cool, cool. All right, so now click down on Drawer Slides. So pull it down over on the left there and look for Drawer Slide. Yep, right there. Okay, great. Double click on the 100-pound full extension ball bearing slide for me. Just double click it. Okay, perfect. Okay, click OK. And then go to the, add that, just hit add button. Perfect. All right, and go to the configuration tab and open up the cabinets tab. And come down to base and hit the plus. Go down to drawer slide, hit the plus again, and go to the 100-pound. Okay, make this larger, just right click and choose auto size for me. All right, so the 22s and the 24, we want to point it to the 20s. So go ahead and right click on the 22 and choose assign library and point it to the 20. And click OK. And do the same for the next one. Click OK. Click OK again. You are done. All right. Well, we fixed that. Great, great question. And considering the price between a 20 and a 22 is substantial, especially if you bring in tons of 20s, you get a way better cost. So I totally get that. All right. What else?
The countertops, 25.5.
Oh, yeah. Let's open up the countertop assembly. So go ahead and hit the open folder and drop it down to countertop. I do countertop no splash to start. Click search. Click OK. We'll open them all. I'll show you how to fix it, and then you can do the rest. It's pretty easy. So it's the depth you said is wrong?
Yeah, they're coming in 25, and ours is 25.5.
Okay. Oh, that's a bit. A ½ inch is a big deal. Probably should just open one, but actually your wet ones with the wood are coming in as 30s.
Yeah, they should all, I mean, anything besides an island, I guess, they should come in like 25.5.
Okay. Wow, that scared me. I swear to God. What the heck? All right, start at the top there and just change the depth right there that says 25 to 25.5. And then hit the save button up top. And you can close it right away. It just makes it easier to remember what you did. And it drops you right to the next one. This is your island top, so it's probably 30's fine for an island, right?
Right, right.
Yes.
Okay.
And again, you can always change them as they come in. This is another island, so close that one. Okay, so there's a countertop with a wood edge. It's also an island, so close that one. And there's your other one, 25.5. Save it and close it.
Could you do a find and replace?
You can't. No, not on an assembly. I mean, certainly if you did it in your quote, and of course when you bring it in, you can always change it, but I'm making it so that it comes in that way all the time. Now, if you come across somebody that says, hey, you know, we want a 30-inch deep countertop, well then when you drag it into your quote, you'll just change the size right then. But this will make it so that no matter what, they come in as 25s.
Okay.
Or 25.5.
Remember our cabinets were coming in at like 23, and then you did like a script things that like you could put.
Yeah, I don't have one for countertops.
Okay.
I just have it for base tiles and walls. Because this is pretty normal that it's a 25. I want to say that's AWI standard, so that's kind of where we leave it. But again, you know, not a big deal. Obviously, you guys can very quickly clean this up and make it to be what you wanted. And again, you didn't even have to do this. You could have just, every time you dragged it in, changed it to 25.5. But kind of a pain in the butt. Do you really want to do that every time? No.
Okay.
So we'll fix it once, and then it'll be that way.
Okay. Yeah, we can come back and do it manually.
You might as well do these. You've already got them open. They take so long to open. It takes her, like, it'll literally take her 30 seconds to finish these. And then I would just triple check. There's 2 more columns of these. I think you've got the subtop and then transaction, which actually maybe you don't even have to change those now that I think about it. We might be done because you just did splash and no splash, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, triple check the subtop and the transaction, but my guess is they come in with different widths completely. Okay.
Okay, let's see, the next thing is, our cabinet construction, we use back pads. Do you know, are you familiar with what?
Do not know what that is.
Okay, because again, I showed my quote to our materials guy. He's like, "Oh yeah, everything's real good. Where's the backpack material, which we just buy, in sheets, and basically since we do our 3/8 back, we add this as, I guess security or added for installation. Each wall cabinet gets 2 back pads, and the base gets, 1 back pad.
Isn't that a stretcher?
I guess we call the stretchers our rails, like the top part, but I don't know. He just brought it up, and
Or a nailer? That's a nailer.
I guess we call it. Yeah,
We called it a nailer, I think. Yeah, let's look in your quotes. I am almost sure you have nailer verbiage in there. So go ahead and open up one of the base cabinet assemblies. It doesn't really matter. And you could go to an estimate if you want. I'm sure we have one in there.
Can't do anything at the moment.
Blue circle of death.
All right, assembly. And we are opening what?
Got a cab base. And just choose a, would it be a wall cabinet or base? You do it on both?
We do them on both. We do 2, in the wall cabinet and 1.
Okay, go to the cab base 2-door is fine. Kind of in the middle. Click OK. And go ahead and hit the plus sign and open it up when you can. And go to the first one, row 1. So as you see, you've got white melamine, 3/4 inch is your nailers.
Okay. So
what do you guys use?
It's just 3/8 raw particle board.
Okay. So in order to change that, we would have to open up every one of your sub-assemblies that is a material. So base cab material, wall cab, tall cab, so there should be 3 there, and then any of the open ones. So the easiest way is just right-click on that base cab material labor. It's row 25 or 24, excuse me, and go down to open assembly because you're going to do it at the sub-assembly level. And now open it up. And there's a trick to this because obviously we have a whole bunch of 3/4 inch melamine, right? But you don't want to use that 3/4 inch melamine. You've got, 1.5 square feet for this. And if you're using 3/8 material, it's cheaper, as I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace the only one in there that is for the nailer. So we're going to, it's a little trickier than just doing a replace. So I want you to go to the nailer row, which is 10. Double click it for me and choose replace. Okay, we're going to look for that 3/8 inch material, and it was raw particle board, so you go to the particle board over on the right.
I haven't put it in yet.
Oh, well, let's do that first then. So hit cancel for me, and let's add that first. So go up to your library books up top, and go to your particle board on the right after you get to sheet goods. And again, if you pull this center bar down a little bit, you don't have to scroll so much. Perfect. So now let's pick on, maybe 3/4 inch 4x8 because it's just 3/8 inch 4x, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Okay, so double click that for me and open it up. And the trick to creating a brand new thing is you're going to use the make copy at the bottom there. So once you click that, now you're working with a copy. So just change it from 3/4 to 3/8. Let's give it a cost. It's obviously not 52 cents. I'm sure it's less than that.
What it is, so I guess I call it 40. Let's see.
Okay. 40 cents and click OK. And now you've created a brand new library item. See it? All right, and click OK again. So now we can double click and replace that. And go to particle board over on the right. And choose your 3/8. Now, once you click OK, the trick is we're going to say to continue. And then where it says all occurrences, I want you to hit the drop down, and you're going to choose part name. It's at the very bottom. Yep. And you're going to pick on the cab nailer. That's the only thing we want to change, and click OK. And now it just changes that one thing. There you go.
So then we have to go through and do this with all of the
All of the subassembly for materials. So if you open that, go ahead and shrink it up again and hit the save button and then close it. And shrink this one up and hit the save and close it. So easiest way, go ahead and hit your open folder and hit the drop down and go to cab base. All the way at the bottom. I apologize. Subassemblies is what we're working with. So just base. And click search. And we should just have had the one. So that's fine. I'm good with that. So go back to the filter and change it from base to wall. Click the search. You've only got the one, so you've got the wall, cab, material, labor. That should be the only place. Maybe the upper back panel. Go ahead and hit your control button and hit the upper back, finished upper. Yeah, I'm just not sure if there's one in there. Click OK. I can't remember if there's one in there or not, so I might as well check. All right, so there's your nailer. So again, double click it, do your replace. Choose your particle board, 3/8. Click continue, all occurrences, part name, nailer. It's the only one that gets changed. If you did it the other way, all the white melamine would go away, which would be a big bummer, right? So, and let's look at this. Nope, no nailer here. So close it up. And then we just want to do that was the wall, so we just need to do the tall. Nope, you're right. So go to the bottom, go to tall, just material. They actually do them both. Now that I think about it, the coat one might have one too. Since they're a tall cabinet. Yep, it does. So that's kind of the beauty of this, doing it this way where it's kind of put together with pieces, as you can change one thing fairly easily. You know, there's other places where it's just a labor thing and it's really simple to change, but even this, if you really think about it, is pretty simplistic.
Yeah, I'm glad I showed it to Bob, our materials guy, because he's like a walking computer. He like picks that stuff up right away.
And that was, you know, that was me as the purchaser. You know, certain things just really stand out to you.
Yeah, and Bob's been Bob came to the building. He's been here like 30-some years. So
now we just have to do our open cabinets and we're done. So hit the open folder.
Yeah, the man remembers the codes for almost every single laminate color.
Wow.
Yeah,
that I am not that good.
all right, if we do the shop pack, are you doing the shop pack training?
I am, yeah.
You're gonna love Bob. You guys are gonna bond. I know what.
Cool. So we want to do the open tab, the open tall cab material. Yeah, I'll put your control button and it'll let you pick more. And then that one, do the 2 full height ones too. No, those are actually dividers. We don't need those.
What about this one here?
Yeah, let's just do it for fun. I just don't think there's anything in a drawer divider, but we'll triple check. You know what, to be a purchaser, you kind of have to be a little nutty because A, you're dealing with the vendors a lot. And so you want to definitely get a good rapport with them. You know, I can tell you that when I first started in the industry, I started as a finisher, and that was kind of unheard of back then. And then I went into the office, and when I started having vendors walk through the door, it was pretty unheard of. I mean, even a woman-owned business didn't really exist in our industry, and we were a woman-owned business. So there were 2 women that ran the company, and it was very interesting because they come in and you'd be like, hey, is your owner around? Is he here? Yeah, there is no he, so no. And then they'd get all flustered, and I would be like, you might want to check yourself, man, because that's just not good. So over time, of course, you know, created amazing relationships. Now, this is an open one. Stop for a second. Hit cancel. I just thought of something. This is an open nailer, and it's made out of bid pre-laminated panels. I'm thinking we leave that alone because it's already open.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'm thinking we don't change that one. I'm thinking we don't change it for any of the open. Go to the open cab material labor at the top. Let's look at that one just for fun. Yeah, see, all of it's being made out of the 3/4 inch material because you're using a pre-laminated panel. So you wouldn't put an extra piece on the back, right?
That's a good question. If we'll do a little investigating and
Okay.
discover, we can go back and.
I'm thinking because in the past, the other pieces, the back was not 3/4 inch, was it?
Right.
Yeah.
We just filled it out.
Okay, so then the one that I did change.
Do you remember what it was?
Nope.
Uh-oh. Let's do this. Instead of doing that, hit cancel. Hit your little drop-down arrow for the open folder. And just grab, we know it's not that one. So maybe go to the bottom, yeah. And start with that one. Nope, it's not that one. Hit the minus sign and close that up first. If you leave them open, they're gonna come in open. So save it. There you go. And go to the next open one and see what that one is. That one didn't have it. You can leave them open. It might make it more sense for you to find them.
Nope.
That's a rail.
Nope.
Sure you changed one?
Yep. It's going to be the very last one that I select. That's just the way my luck works.
It might have been the very first one on the list.
It was open, right?
I was ready for that one. I knew it was coming.
There it is.
So you want to put in 3/4 inch bid pre-laminated panel. Very bottom. And I think it's white liner. Pull it down from the back and double check. Yeah, pull it down. So you can see behind you on the grid. I can't see. Did you move it?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't see. So is everything good two sides or does it have white liner? It's all good two sides. Great.
Good two
Grab
sides.
that one. Perfect. There's a delay. I didn't see it. Cool. Close it up. Save it up. All right.
Okay.
What else?
Let's see. I might have answered this myself, but getting our reports to, I guess, stick the way we want them to stick. I saw the make defaults, but then I saw another make default, so I think I was hitting the wrong make defaults.
Okay.
Does that make it the default for everybody? Like I do it on mine, and when Jim makes a new one, it'll come in that same way?
So when you're talking about going up to the options and you come down to documents and you go to quotation, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like the quotation.
Okay, you said reports. So if we're in a quote, go ahead and hit cancel and go back to your estimate tab. Let's open up the estimate we've been working in. And you go up to the blue and red, your document settings. Choose quotation and click OK. So if you click that make default at the bottom after you've changed something, you will be globally changing it for everybody from that point forward. So we don't want to do that.
Because like in the column, like click on the column, like then I noticed like these kept getting changed when I started the job, and I noticed there's a make default here.
Right.
That makes those stick the way they are for everybody? Or?
Correct.
Okay.
So the best way to make a true, right now you guys are in that experimental stage and you're trying to decide what you want to see and what you don't want to see. So using the make default right now is fine because you're saying, okay, we really like it this way, but then down the road you might decide you like it another way, but you want to decide that as a company because you can always change it for your quote. So, I mean, if you wanted to add with depth and height to this one, you could add with depth and height to these columns and then print that document, and it would only be in this document that you would see that until maybe you went to your next document and added that. Now, as a company, if you guys decide, wow, we really want to see that from this point forward, it's really important, you could certainly add that as a default from there on. But be careful with that, because when you hit make default, everywhere forward it's going to show it that way, no matter what.
Okay. So there's basically two places. You got, you know, in your column selection there, and then you have here.
Mm-hmm.
Is there other place, like I assume if the line type and tree node probably has the same thing?
Line type and tree node is definitely the way it is always. So again, it's once you set it up like that and you hit make default, that would be your default for this document. A column one is just you're setting that particular column to be the default for that. That's kind of all it is. It's just another place to add it in for this particular document.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, be careful with it. Again, you don't want to do it to everybody because maybe that's not the way you want every single document to be. So if you want to play, definitely go into this one, the output document button, and then that will help you to fix it that way.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And let's see, is there a way to make a report or where it is basically by assembly, like it lists, you know, your quantities? Like right now we have it, basically it'll spit out, like since we're doing lineal photo countertops, it'll say, okay, 200 lineal feet of PLAM tops, 100 of solid surface, and then this many base cabinets, and there's 36 inches wide. Or I guess do a filtered report by assembly. Is that possible?
So you can do a filter report by product. Is that what you mean?
I guess I'm calling it assembly or product.
That's okay. So if you go up to the reports button up top there, and you come down to estimate, you can see you have a products total.
Okay.
So you can click that, and then you can click OK. And there it's breaking it out by every product. So you can see the product is at the top, tall cab, 2-door, and then you see the markup and everything. So that's one way you can look at it. Is that kind of what you were hoping for?
Is it like list quantities, or like, I guess, I mean, every cabinet could be different, width, depth, or height, but.
Yeah, it does not in this particular one. So if you wanted to do it that way, we could do it as maybe a takeoff. So if you go up to your document settings again and choose takeoff, click OK. Down where it says line type at the bottom, click that. We're good there. Click OK. Go to the columns button. So here maybe you want to add width, depth, and height to your takeoff. If you want to move them up, you can. If you don't, you probably don't want to see the sell price since you don't show it on anything anyway.
Well, I mean, I guess let's not make this one default, because this is one.
We're not. We're just in this document.
Okay.
So we can just leave it the way it is if you want for right now, or get rid of the sell price. Like I said, I know you guys don't use sell price and unit price anyway.
We do with the takeoff.
With the takeoff, you do? Okay. So click OK.
The takeoff will be what we give to our drafters and our internal document.
Okay. Let's uncheck the miscellaneous installs and stuff. We definitely don't want that. And the one above it. Okay, and click OK. And let's preview that document. Is that kind of what you were thinking?
No, I mean, I guess, like, I wish I should have scanned or something, but basically our filtered reports by, assembly or product, it's like, it would tell me you have, like, okay, in the whole job you have 100 locks, and in the whole job, not the actual hardware, but for your product, you have 100 locks, and you have, I don't know, 10 plastic laminate countertops.
That's the line type analysis report. So just go ahead and click away. Go to the top of the job for me and click on line types and click the little hand holding the paper and click OK. There's your breakout of everything.
Okay, that's the hardware, but I'm saying as
It's everything. It's all the material, all the hardware.
right, but is there one to do just tell you what, like how many products you have, and not hardware, but like you have 10 base cabinets or
Okay.
15 wall cabinets, and you got 5 countertops.
Okay, let's try one more. Go ahead and close that. Go up to the reports button. Come down to the estimate. Go to listing. Is it listing? Go to listing. It's breaking it out with the material, but not exactly the way you want it. Go ahead and close that. Let me think.
Because like how I use, or we use it now, you know, basically like I said, I mean, for like,
Product list. There it is. Go to that one.
you know, we'll have a job that has a bunch of solid surface tops, and we'll come back and go, oh, you know, what if you just change them all to, you know, PLAM, and just real quick, you know, I've got 100 feet of solid surface tops, and it tells me I've got that many feet, and I'm like, okay, I know how many feet.
So you want the product itself with the material attached to it?
No, just the product. It says,
Okay.
like, our production will look at it too, sometimes go, oh, this job has, you know, 50 solid surface countertops in it or something.
All right.
So
Click OK. Let's see if this is what you're looking for.
yep, that looks like it.
Cool. So the product list is what you want.
Okay.
Yep, it's under reports.
Estimate product list.
Details, product list.
Sorry that took me so long to come up with that for you.
I knew I knew they'd be able to do it.
8 different reports. I think there's like, I think somebody told me once there were over 400 different reports, and then within those you can alter them so many different ways. So I'm impressed when I come up with anything. You also have a parts list right below it too, which can help you too.
Yeah, like I was saying, so sometimes like our president or something will go like, let me see this job or something and see what it's all about. And that's what he likes to look at.
Yeah, do that one again for me. Parts list. And here you can delineate it out. So you could choose, you know, product description, and then put in your width, depth, and height. And we can sort it by the product ID. You can convert it from parts, inches to millimeters, etc. Go ahead and click OK. We need to do a part length and width and height. Yeah, go ahead and choose that. Depth and height, all of them. Only 2.
Allowed.
Well, there you go.
What's part quantity? Doesn't matter.
Apparently not. So that one doesn't give you a total though.
No, that tells you each individual.
Size. But I like the first one we did, the product one.
Yeah,
I think that's the one you'll use better. Cool. All right.
Let's see what else. I haven't really entered any like lead materials in because I know that generates like a report that our project manager they're going to use. Can you tell us a little bit about like, you know, entering lead material, what columns we fill out and what we shouldn't, so it generates that nice report for them so they don't like get the
Sure.
you know. It's
So go up to your library books. Do you have any NAUF material in here at all?
Hey, I was avoiding it because until I talked to you.
No, there's some in there. See?
Okay, I think that's what you guys had in there.
That's fine. So double click on any one of those and go to the lead button. So here's where you would differentiate what the version, what the rating, what the category is. And then it will fill that in, and then you can add the credit assignment at the bottom as well as your vendor. So that then when you use that material in a quote, when you go to print that lead report, it'll pull this material out as being a lead. So it'll just happen automatically. So all your lead library items, just go ahead and fill them out with the proper versions.
Okay, so this sounds like maybe this is something we should sit down with the project managers and like, it's not like an easy, because we're not.
Well, no, I mean, when you buy material, it's pretty, go ahead and hit cancel for me.
Because I don't know all the categories and all that.
Go up to define and come down to lead. So these are already in here for you. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I don't know if any new ones have been developed since 3.0. And since 2009, I'm guessing they have, but I don't know, maybe they haven't. But if they have, then obviously you would add in a new one. And then you go to the rating next, and you will see that the ratings coincide with that particular version. So if you chose a version 3, and again, you can find this out from your vendors, what do you carry? And they will tell you what they carry. And so then you'll have all this. This is already here now for you the way it is. But like I said, I would triple check that there's not a newer one that we just don't know about yet. And once you get that all in there, then when you go to assign it, if your vendor says, it's a 3.0 for schools, this is the lead you're going to choose, that would be, you just would set it up as that in that particular library item. And so then anytime you use it in a quote, that's the verifications that will show up on the reporting.
Okay,
But you have to do that to all your library items. So usually it's the purchaser that kind of takes care of it, unless you're.
This is a big project for us to get with the purchasers.
Yeah, because usually they're the ones that know. Or some people say, hey, you know what, I'm going to wait until I get my first job that I have to quote that's lead certification, and then I'm going to assign those things to all the materials that I am using in this job. So it's kind of up to you. Do you want to take the time to do it now because you do this all the time? You do a ton of lead, or do you just have a handful? Like I had 2 hospital jobs that I used to do over and over, and they were totally lead, and I had to supply every bit of information. But I knew exactly which ones they were. It was very specific: retail, new construction, commercial interiors. It was very specific what I got to choose.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, we don't do a lot, so yeah, I'm thinking that this will be a team effort with maybe the project manager too, since for me, for estimating personally, I don't really care. It's like it's just a price.
Yeah.
So,
well, and once you get it going, like I said, once you put that information into that library item, or if you guys get a new quote and they're asking you to quote it with this particular library item and it's not in your library yet, well, when you add it, you'll add that information right then and there, and then it'll always be there unless something changes about it. But for the most part, it won't. Like I said, I gun to my head, I don't think there's any new lead version codes, but maybe there is. There's a whole chapter about lead in the user guide too. So if you go to help, user guide, you'll see the whole chapter about lead. I would just read it really quickly. It's not difficult. I mean, it's literally just setting up those library items. It's kind of one more little user thing that you have to do yourselves. Sound good?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, let's see. In the one job I quoted, I had some like a little small amount of finished wood, and I added the piece of wood in there, and then I was throwing in, like the stain, and then the varnish, but then I realized that you have some products set up already for like moldings and stuff, but
yeah,
you get like that sub assembly of just the finishing, like
sure,
like I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
yes, you can pull that in.
Okay, so like say I got a weird piece of molding, I'll just put that in manually, but I want to drag in the whole finishing sub-assembly, so I just can click on, it's going to be this much of this and this much of that.
Mm-hmm. Or you could bring in the molding one that you've got and then alter it.
Just change the molding piece in there?
Yep. So let's say, hypothetically, go to any one of those summary nodes. Oh,
Sorry?
Just open up any quote. It doesn't really matter which one. And open up the base and go to where it says anything, any one of those summary that we could pull something in. Perfect. So click on 110 storage, and let's drag in a molding summary or molding subassembly. So everything is buyout for you guys, so that's perfect. So grab any one of them and drag it in. And go ahead and say it's 100 lineal feet. If it's taller than 4.25, you can change that. And click OK. So now double click on the little drop down arrow next to the 11 to open it up. Once it's done thinking hard. Oh, I'm having a hot flash. Oh my goodness. Yikes. So there's your finish right there. If you you see it's all there, and then you've got maple base. So let's say that isn't what you want. You didn't want the maple base. You could double click that and swap it out for any material you wanted, or you could use JobSpec to do it.
Okay, so this would be kind of the preferred method, the easiest.
Exactly. So easy. You don't even have to think about it because it's wood. It's coming in with that. Now, of course, if you wanted it, it's coming in with your norm, which is a wiping stain. Let's say it isn't a wiping stain. You're using a dye stain. You could actually turn around and use job spec, and it'll turn that on and off for you. Conversion varnish instead of your pre-cap varnish. It'll turn all that stuff on and off for you based on you adding that. If there's a glaze in it, again, it shows glaze here, but quite honestly, you would tell it you want to do that through job spec. Because why would you sit here and try to delineate and put the, I want to ignore this or unignore that? Oh my God, you'll make yourself crazy. So job spec will do it for you very quickly.
Okay, I was going to ask, job spec is what turns on and turns off like the finishing, like if you've got a wood cabinet, so like say half my job is PLAM, half my job is wood, you know, I do a job spec for half of them, you know, and that's what turns on the finishing.
That is correct.
Let's see. It's kind of, you know, how you did your assembly for like delivery and install. It's kind of, I've kind of seen how you guys do stuff now. Like I was saying, can we make something like that for, you know, what I'm calling Horizon and our stuff where, you know, I throw in the field measuring and, you know, maybe our shop drawings. And
I think you have one in there for that.
Yeah, we'd already done something with that one. So
It's right there. It's called Engineering PM.
oh, okay.
Go over to the right and drag it, open that one up.
okay, I don't want to add anything to this bid.
Yeah, do my athletical.
Well, you can,
I'll
let's
go
see.
with it.
That's the real bit. We could play around with all the other ones.
Gotcha. So there you go, field measure, project management, or engineering. Just like your install one is.
Okay, I got it.
Good?
Yep.
That's kind of what you were hoping for, right?
Yep, but we already got it. That's good. So.
Cool. I like it when it's already done.
Okay, let's see. The next one's pretty minor. Can we kind of go back over the project tab and like all the tabs below, like who the project team is and where we should be putting stuff? And
Sure.
I guess as part of that, you know, where quotes are stored. I mean, do people like, you know, like export their quotes to PDF and save them somewhere, or they just kind of assume that, oh, it's in Project Pack and anybody can get to them?
So it's totally up to you. Remember we talked about how you have that wonderful Documents tab at the very end? So for my money, this is a pretty new little stroke of genius that we added, which I just love, 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 love. And the cool part about this is that most people have a server that they throw drawings on, and they throw the quote they get from an amazing vendor or any verbiage they correspond back and forth. Some people even put their emails into that folder. So depending on whether or not what level of information you have, you can actually link it to it right here. So if you go to that little folders area and right click for me, and choose Add Folder, you would want to go to wherever you have that verbiage linked. It's some network version of it. You wouldn't want to use it. Perfect. Yep. So where your drawings are, 2018, exactly. I want to be on the employee birthday spreadsheet. That's so cool that you even care about that.
There's nothing in there, but so that
So let's right click again and remove that one, and let's add maybe the 2017, and we'll find an actual specific job if you don't mind. So are there jobs in there? Oh, she pulled them all in. Yeah, we just would want to pull one in. We would want to delineate it out so you're only seeing the one. But what's cool about this is that then if you had multiple things, you had the drawings, you had this, you send out an actual job to them, an actual quote to them, and you save it as a PDF, you can actually stick it in that folder because you probably did anyway. In the past, we would have scanned it and stuck it in there, right?
So, yeah.
So now you're going to stick it there so that you know exactly what that last thing was that you sent to them. Because, gosh, what if something happened and someone changed it and now they sign it and it doesn't even look the same? You're like, what happened here? Now, for my money, I would lock the quote once I send it. That kind of signals to me that I did that, so I don't forget and do something on top of it.
Okay, where do you lock the quote at?
Sure. Let's go back to the Details tab. And let's go straight up and click on our estimate. So if you go up to where it says Base Bid, to your right you have a Lock Base Bid. And so now if you try to do something to this, it's not going to let you. You can do the same thing to your change order. It may let you drag something in, but it's, yeah, you see.
No, it won't.
I think we did have a point where it was letting you still, but it wouldn't let you save it. The change order is still open right now. So again, once you are done with it and you've sent it off, you change that status from pending to submitted, I would lock it. And it's not necessarily that you can't just go right up and unlock it, because you absolutely can. There's no, like, Shannon can't lock it from one of you guys. That's not how it works. All it is it's a flag to you. Hey, stop what you're doing. Are you really meaning to do this? Is this really the right thing? Blah, blah, blah. And that's what it's about. That's what locking is about. The other thing it will do is if you lock something, it doesn't allow you, if you notice your job spec is grayed out. So it doesn't allow you to go in and add a new spec or change a new spec. So if for some reason you do have to add a secondary change order, you are going to have to unlock it to allow yourself to get into that spec. Again, the thought process behind it is you might need that same spec, but you also want to make sure you don't change that spec in some relation because it's applied to something that's already gone to the customer. So it's just a big old red warning, Will Rogers, danger, danger. You know, you don't want to make a change if you don't want to make a change. And that's kind of what locking is about. We've had a couple customers say, can't you make it so that, you know, the owner could lock it and no one could get into it? Well, it isn't really reality, because let's be honest, we all need to do things additional to it. So all it really is to let you know, hey, you can't go in and make a change to this. You have to physically unlock it, and are you sure that's what you want to do? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to the project tab, which is where you were a second ago. So adding contacts, we go down to the contacts at the bottom.
Okay, so the contacts, is that more for who you're sending the bid out to, or who internally that's going to be working on the job, or everybody?
So it's kind of a combo. Obviously, I know you guys are thinking about getting ShopPack at some point. So quite honestly, when it comes over to ShopPack, there's different assignments that might happen. But until you have that, you might want to say who is doing what in this project. And so if you go ahead, you can add in your own people to it. On the first page, on the details page, you have the ability to add in the project manager, the salesperson, and the estimator. So those things can come in. So if the job is awarded, you would change that to whomever that project manager is. Okay. Again, once you have ShopPack, when it comes over, you would change it on the ShopPack tab, and then it will actually talk back and tell it here as well. Or if you did it first and you converted it, it would show up there. Go back to the Contacts tab. Usually what most people use contacts for is for the place they're sending it, to add a vendor, to add the architect, to add the company you have to rent scaffolding from. It's kind of that sort of stuff. But again, if you want to add your own internal people, you can certainly do that as well. It's not going to differentiate or make you say, no, you can't do that.
Okay, so how does that differ the all relate
In the project
or
folder.
so you got your contacts and then you got your bid list.
So bid list would be a group of different GCs you're sending it to.
Okay.
So, you know, if I'm sending it to, you know, Hein Construction, as well as a bidding contractor, as well as TradeSoft, well, those are my 3 GCs I'm going to send this to. The only reason you would put those there is A, to keep track of their names, and B, to allow you to print a document that has their information on it, as opposed to just a generic bidding contractor information. And both ways work, but some people are very picky about that, and they want it to show the actual name. Like the Horizon Group would not be a company listed in there. You wouldn't be sending a quote to yourselves.
And then when you send out the quote, and it generates that date, and
Mm-hmm.
you pull
Yeah, so
like
if you went ahead and chose,
the last quote you sent, or you just have to go back into the?
When you generated a quote. So let's say you did some update and you printed it again, then go ahead and say make current customer. And now go straight up and click on your estimate tab. Nope, go back to the project tab. Go straight up and click on it. So you create the link. Okay, and now go ahead and click on the document settings, the blue and red, and choose quotation. Click OK. Click OK again. Preview the document. Go ahead and click OK. And let's go ahead and save it as a PDF or something. Wow, it is thundering really bad. If I lose you guys, it means I've lost power.
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw it in here for now.
There you go. And just go ahead and close the door. And now if we were to go back to the project tab, so go straight up and click on the project tab. Yep. And now you can see the data's changed.
Oops.
It should have changed. Go back to the bid list. Well, it's saying yesterday.
That's what it said before.
Did it? Okay. Let's do bidding contractor. Let's make him the current customer. And just preview the document. Yeah, you can just preview it. You don't have to go through all that. Joe Schmo. Okay. And just close it. Let's see if without saving it, if it does it. And go back to the project tab.
Nope.
Save it and just close the quote for me and then open it back up again. Hit the little drop down arrow and open it up again. Go to bid list.
Nope.
Would that only change if you send out an email?
I guess I'm gonna say yes, but I actually had not seen that before. I thought the minute you let's do one more thing. Let's save it. We didn't save this last one. So let's save it like we did before. I'm sorry, print it like a PDF for how you saved it to your folder.
Okay.
And you saved it?
Mm-hmm.
I looked down, I was writing a note. And go back to the project. Okay, I'm gonna have to make a note and ask about that because that I would have thought was automatic. So let me look into that. Quote generated data on projects not changing. What version are you guys at? Go to help about for me up top. 7.12.10117. Okay, we definitely have a newer version.
You've said that before.
Okay. Yeah, let me look into that and see if I can find out what's going on with that.
Yeah, there was the other issue with the location not coming in when you type it in. If you remember that too.
Yes, and I did ask them about that. So they haven't gotten back to me or you about that one.
Okay, no, I can't.
Did you have an email before?
No.
Yeah, we got
Oh,
it.
that happened to me. You don't have the contact.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, but is there an email for Joe Schmo in the system?
Yeah, it was like something that happened to me earlier, but I just didn't have Steve clicked or something. So it's like.
Yeah, if you don't have an actual email assigned to that guy. Yeah, so if you want to go to the business, you can go to the business. Oh, it is pouring. Oh, go to bidding contractor. Yeah, Joe Schmo doesn't have an email. If you want to throw my email in there, that it should work.
Yeah, that's fine, because like I said, that
Yeah.
I did it earlier and that was the same.
Without an email, it'll just fail on you like it did.
Okay.
All right. Cool. What else?
I guess go back to that tab.
Oh yeah, we were playing with projects, so go back to our project tab.
And like, because for transmittals and RFIs, we don't do a lot in estimating. You know, we don't send it out formally. We might just shoot somebody an email. You know, it's not, so we don't get all formal about it.
Sure.
I assume, like, you know, once we get the project, that's when we want to get formal. Okay.
Well, it kind of depends. A lot of times an RFI, that could turn into a change order down the road. Like you might ask them a question. Let's say they tell you one color. You know, the color's been discontinued. You reach out to them with an RFI, and they come back and say, yeah, I use this color, which is also a Wilson art. Well, you get that information, and you've put it in here as an RFI. Well, now they change their mind again after the job has been awarded. Well, that RFI that they very specifically told you was this color, and that's what you quoted it from, now is turned into this color. So now you're going to take that RFI and you're going to turn it into an additional change order because the cost is going up. So sometimes those become very important. And you can use the email, like you said. You can actually copy and paste an email into here if you'd like.
And then everything's like stored in here. It keeps record of all the transmittals and RFIs.
Exactly. Yep. So you have that running total of everything, which is super nice.
And that transfers into ShopPack as well.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, we just haven't messed around with this area much, so I haven't.
So have we done one at least?
I believe we have.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought we had. Go to the transmittal at the bottom. Yeah.
We did one of
Did you guys just hear that lightning thunder?
No.
Oh my gosh. It's like black outside. Oh. Like I said, I hope I don't lose power on you. If I do, I love you. Just hang on. Yeah, well, hopefully it'll come back fast. All right. So do you guys want to keep playing with, do you have any more questions for me?
No, I think that was about all I had. Did you have
Okay.
any?
No, I'm just getting into it. So
Yeah, you can have.
So are you feeling,
okay.
okay. Are you feeling confident with job spec? Did you guys want to touch on it again?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. One thing I realize in that, like, if you're copying from a template, you still need to create, like, if you're in a job, you still need to call it a different job spec. You don't bring it in directly as the template. Right?
You could if you wanted to, but honestly, normally you always start with a new name. You'll right click and choose new, and you'll pick something, and then you'll go and look for the template.
It doesn't give you an option just to put the template in. So.
It does not. No, you have to start something brand new every time. Yeah.
That makes sense. I was just like having a hard time trying to put the.
Well, and I've had a lot of people say to me recently, why do I have to do that and then create a new one and then pull in the template? And I said, well, you don't have to pull in a template. You can actually start from scratch with just a blank. And some people prefer that because, quite honestly, if in your brain you're thinking to yourself, I'm only changing the plastic laminate from PVC to plastic laminate edge banding, and I'm only changing the slides and the doors or the door pulls. Well, then you could just pull that up, and those are the only two things you have to change. So maybe that will resonate better with you. So let's do one like that, because sometimes that's a good way to think about it. So go back to your estimate. Is this our play one?
yeah.
Yes.
All right, so let's go down to one of our other things that we don't have a spec attached to. Actually, this one's got an inherited spec. So these are all countertops. Let's go to that one. What's inside of that one? It's got a solid surface and an ADA. Yeah, we want to put some cabinets or something in there. What would we be changing? Just solid surface? Should we do one like that?
I lost my train of thought.
So when you just change part of the job spec, the original job spec stays there and just changes that part and then the spec?
So here's the thing. If you put in a big job spec and you change all kinds of stuff, the melamine, the laminate, the pull, the slide, whether it's wood or not, and it inherits all the way down like this. And then it comes a time where you think, okay, I need to change this one completely differently. you want to be careful, because if you don't change every attribute that you changed before, then the original attributes are going to stay in play. So some people wait and they assign the job specs on the level that they want to do them one at a time as the time comes, rather than assign it at the top where the base bid is and letting it trickle all the way down, because that can create a problem further down the road. So if you forgot to change the solid surface and that was one of the original things, and then you come to the next one and it's completely different, well, now you could actually overprice it or underprice it because you forgot to change something. So I'm always very cautious with that. If you ever make a mistake, let's say that this one, the Bryan's test, is not the spec at all. If you right click on there, it'll say remove spec. Actually, okay, it's not saying that. Why isn't it saying that? Oh, probably because you haven't applied it yet. So because we haven't applied it, we probably can get rid of this pretty easily.
Okay.
If, however, you hit remove spec, it does not remove it in true nature. It removes it from the name so that you wouldn't see this in the center anymore, but it does not really remove it. So if you had mahogany in there and you hit remove spec, it'll remove the name, but the mahogany is staying until you apply another spec to it. So that's why you always want to have that default in there, because if you ever need to go back to ground zero, you want to apply the default again. So you just would make a new one. I would call it default. I would add the default template and I would boom, attach that, because now you've gone back to square one. It's kind of your original stuff again. I've seen people delete an entire thing and pull it all in again. No, don't do that. Just grab your default spec and apply it. Super easy. Way easier than pulling in 5 new items again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's play around with the solid surface. 2 ways we can do something like this. If this is the only place it's changing, you can actually open up that product. Just go ahead and hit line 1 and double click it on that little drop down arrow. And you could actually change that Formica series. Let's say you know you're going to use something completely different on this particular one, and this is the only place it's changing. So you could double click and replace it with something completely different. Now, if the entire job, or you have got 5 different solid surface things in here, you can replace them all under that banner. If this, again, is the only place this is, you can make that happen pretty easily just by going up to that 220 men's room and replacing it so everything underneath it does that. I've seen where somebody's got one wall cabinet and they want a completely different pull on that one. Well, you can just replace that one wall cabinet. You don't have to go and replace every pull using job spec. You can just replace it by using this old-fashioned way. This is our old way. Before job spec was invented, this is how you replaced all your library items.
Now, how do you replace stuff, like, say, for the whole job? I was kind of playing around with that, but I wasn't into it. So I assume you have to be on your base bid and then...
Correct. So we would double click on something. So let's say we want to replace all our pulls. Let's go find a pull somewhere. It's a great question. You know, you've done all your specs, everything looks great, and they come to you and say, hey, you know what, we want to use this pull. And it's the same pull throughout the whole job, and you're like, I am not going to take the time to open up every single thing. I don't want to find them. That's a massive pain in my butt. I'm moving on. Let's go ahead and open up the drawer front so we can find a pull somewhere in there. Okay, so you got a Doug Mockett pull right there. It's kind of right in the center where it says hardware. Double click it for me and choose replace library item. So I want you to choose the $11 satin nickel one. Okay, click OK. Now, just like we did before you hit continue, we're going to move up to base bid, or even all the way to the top where it says Bryan's test. If we go all the way to the top, it's even going to do it in the change order. Now you click continue and click OK, and it's going to do it every place it lived, 26 places.
Okay, so you have to be in the highest level.
Right. Again, if it's just in the workroom, like all the pulls are changing in the workroom, you'd go to workroom. If it's just on this drawer stack, you'd stay just on this drawer stack. So you have the alternative to kind of do it whatever way you'd like. And again, a lot of times that'll happen. You do these 5 different job specs. They're all fantastic. They've all got different pulls, and they come back and say, wow, you know, we bought we chose a $25 pull. We're out of our minds. We can't believe it's, $4,000 for pulls. Can you give us your normal pull? Well, your normal pull costs 55 cents. Are you going to go and open every one of those specs, apply it to? No, you're going to find one, double click it, put your 55-cent one in, hit it at the very top, and boom, you're going to pull out $4,000 really quickly. And that happens. That happens. I mean, heck, I bought really expensive pulls, and then I went, am I being stupid here? And I found dollar pulls and moved on in my life.
Yeah, or the $170 anti-ligature pulls that they try to.
It's insane. I mean, it's really, really crazy. Some of the pulls I saw were just like crazy expensive. And I thought, I want an under the cabinet vacuum for $150. I do not need to spend $150 on pulls.
Oh, you got one of those that you just sweep into your toe kick?
Oh my gosh, coolest thing ever.
I saw that. I'm like, I want one.
It's so great. And I have cats, and so there's litter that manages to get everywhere, and you see it because I have super dark floors. It's the best thing I've ever bought, and I'm not kidding. On Amazon, $1.25. I mean, how can you beat that? All right. So great question. All right, so let's play around with a spec then. So let's go to our solid surface again. So go to that 220 men's room. And let's say we wanted to really do something about this particular spec. So let's go up to our top where our specs are, and we're going to make a new solid surface spec. And we might be doing more to this solid surface, so we are definitely going to want to create one and be able to use it. So you've got that Brian's test spec. So now let's just right click and choose countertop or solid surface, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now at the bottom, I would just grab the countertops. And I would pull it up to that upper area where it says job spec. Perfect, okay? So now you can click it open. And you could do one of two things. You could leave it at the countertop level and just go down to the very bottom where the solid surface things are. And you can change them. So it's a cove, you choose your material. Now your library books are going to show up. So now instead of that Formica, which is your norm, you can change it to what you want it to be.
Okay, can you drag up, like how you drag up the countertops? Can you drag it up even lower, like just the solid surface tops?
Yep, absolutely. So if you go to just the solid surface there, click on, oh, sorry, no, you just click on the solid surface there. So now you're only seeing that. And as you can see, you didn't do the books. If you click on the library books, you didn't double click and put the Hymax over on the right. So go to Hymax up at the top on your subdivision and then double click it there. And it has to go into that selected area. Perfect. Now it turns to red because we are at the lower level. So this is different than what it's showing at the very top of the countertops. It's okay. It's not going to change anything, but it's just, again, signaling to you, hey, this is totally different than what's at the very front of my paperwork, which is good. Because we only care about the solid surface, so we're fine. So now it's asking you about substrate, if you want to change what the substrate is or choose something. It's got something in there specifically already. So you can see it comes to MDF, 3/4 inch. So if that's the same, you can leave it alone and just hit NA and you don't have to choose anything. Oh my gosh, my floor is rumbling with that.
I think you heard it that time.
Did you? Okay, good. It's like, okay, you guys must think I'm crazy. So now you're looking for a sink, right? Go to bid price. Let's see if it's under bid price. You might have sinks under bid price.
That's the only place I put it in so far.
There it is, yeah. So pick one of those. All right, and click OK. So now we can right click on that men's room and we can choose job spec and we can choose assign, and now we can choose our countertop or a solid surface. And now right click and apply it.
So there's a question. So the spec for the 88 apron is still the standard spec? Or the Ryan bid spec?
Unless there was solid surface in it that we just changed out.
Okay.
So now if you went to your line type analysis and ran the report, you should see that high max information now. Yep. So yeah, the bid pre-laminated must be the ADA sink front. Yeah. Yep. So if it was all that material, then you would have wanted to go in and change that as well.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just wondering if you change, well, that's the spec and you want to change the spec, how that works.
Well, I'm thinking the ADA is going to fall under a base cabinet. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So we would want to pull in the base cabinet and change that. So yeah, if the front of the ADA was also solid surface, which, you know, it probably wouldn't be, but let's say it was, you'd need to pull in the base cabinet. Uh-oh. Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, my whole screen just went black. Okay, I didn't lose you though. That was interesting. Screen went black, but y'all stayed, so yay. All right, so let's say we wanted to change that base information. We would have to pull the base up and then find the ADA information that's in there. So as soon as we found it, we would be able to change it. And the easy way to look for it, go ahead and hit the number 2 just next to that, the drop-down arrow. And you can see in there that it's based on a bid pre-laminate. Let's scroll over a bit, and we're looking for that part name. So keep going. Oh, it looks like we must have hidden it away. So let's go up to our 2 check marks and go to your hide columns. See, I didn't jump that time. Nope. And let's put a check mark in part name as well as part. I'm honestly not sure which one it is. Further down is part. And click OK. All right, and scroll over. Okay, it's the part one. Let's open that up a bit so we can read it. So you can see it's going to grab it from the cabinet finished end material and cabinet material. So it would be, we definitely would have to go in and change those things because that's what's going to feed that information. Now again, if you really wanted that front to be something different, you could say that finished material, the bid pre-laminated, you could double click that and just change it out for high max material if you really wanted to. That might be a super easy way to do something like this, but you can also pull it in as a spec and change it. Have you ever done that?
Square foot material and labor?
Sorry, say that again?
Can we just add the solid surface as a square foot material? And
you absolutely could, yeah. You could right click on that 220 men's room. Or you could even just add it in here. So you could go there and add a product and call it solid surface material. Nope, not in this assembly. Yeah. Okay, and then go over to your library on the right and grab solid surface and whatever one you want. Drag it up right on top of the product, let it go, and tell us how many square feet.
Okay. And just add labor and for finishing and everything else then.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Either way would work. Yeah. And then you've got stone buyout and all that other stuff. So, or let's say you just got a quote from somebody. It was a complete buyout. Like you're not doing anything to it. It's total pass through. You can right click and add it as an item, and then you could just type whatever you want. So go ahead and delete that one. Just click it. Yeah, click delete. Okay, and right-click and add an item this time. And now you can just start typing where you are because it's flashing in the flyout panel there. Let's just call it solid surface. Okay, and then you've got your one. Right-click on the description up top there. Go to edit row and literally put in the unit of measure is square foot or a total cost for the job, whatever you'd like. So you could say each job square foot and then put in a cost. So if it's, 50 bucks a square foot, and then put in your unit of measure, how many square feet you want. Some people, if they get a cost from a subcon or something, they would literally just put it in as a one. The unit of measure is the job or a lot, and then the total cost of, $15,000. So then that would just be a straight material item. Oh, no, not in the adjusted unit cost. I'm saying if you were to do it just as a lot, so it would be a one instead of square foot, you would just make it job or each or lot and then put in the unit cost.
Well, that's one thing we were going to ask. The adjusted unit cost in general, like when it pops up in the dialog box, is that like a percentage or what is
No,
it?
yeah, if you wanted to override the cost that's coming in. So let's say you've got this library item and you pay $20 a sheet for it, but you get this amazing cost for this quote. You guys are doing tons of it and you're going to get a really great cost. Well, rather than change that library item, you just want it to be a different cost in this quote. So instead of being $20 a sheet, it's actually going to be 18. So you would put in the adjusted unit cost of 18. Then for this quote and this quote only, it'll come in as that price.
No, that's not. That's
Something else.
go to the 88 seat panel, please. Close that. Edit row. I'll close it down in edit row.
So the adjusted unit cost right there.
No, right here.
Oh, the labor adjust. Okay.
Labor
So
adjust.
labor adjust, sure. So labor adjust is, let's say again, you're going to make 100 of these, and you could do it faster. So instead of being a 1, you're going to make it a 0.9. Or that this is going to take you way more time because for whatever reason, it's going to be a harder thing to build. You might make it 1.1, so you're actually going to add 10% more time. Or 0.9 would be removing 10% of the time. It's all about the labor though only.
Okay, so that's adding percentages of time.
Correct. So if it was 0.9, you'd be removing 10% of the time. If it was 1.1, you'd be adding 10% more time to do it. We used to use it when we knew the job was all hard maple because it just took so much longer to sand it.
Yeah.
So you'd increase that labor adjust. You can even do it where it's across the board labor adjust. And you can actually set up certain things. Like if you guys make, we used to do a lot of exam rooms for hospitals. So we would make 1,000 sink bases. You're making 1,000 of them at one time, you can get a better cost on those. So we would actually set up a couple of our things. If it was 1 to 10, it was this cost. If it was 1 to 100, it was this. If it was 100 to 200, it was this. And you can do that under the labor curving.
Okay.
Most people don't do that. They just do it on a job-by-job basis like this, where it's like, I know I'm doing a ton of these, or I'm not doing enough of these and I want to increase it because I want to play with it. The other thing you can always do is you can always pull in a little more labor and pad something. If you ever feel uncomfortable about anything, drag in a little more labor so that you've got that information. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Great questions, you guys. You are diving in deep. I love it.
Yeah, we're almost ready to release to the wild.
No, we don't want to be released in the wild.
Yes, I think you are too. I love it. So we didn't
like advice or words of wisdom or things that people really screwed up that we shouldn't do, or
Well, I did just spend time with my people before you guys who are neck and neck with you in time that I've spent with them, but are not remotely neck and neck with you in how far they are, because they just proceeded to delete a whole bunch of their sub-assemblies from their assemblies.
Oh no.
I was like, I was godsmacked. I'm not kidding. I looked at it and went, what would possess you guys to do this? Well, I started altering and then I decided that I didn't do it right. Well, oh my God. So please don't do that. Last week I had somebody delete an entire division of their library.
Oh my
And it
God.
was not a little one, it was sheet goods.
Oh.
And he goes, well, I don't know how I did that. I go, I know how you did that. You actually double clicked and then clicked the word delete. It's not an easy gig, man. So
I'm not allowed to play in there yet.
Yeah.
well, but here's the thing. Honestly, as long as we don't give you deletability, you probably can't hurt anything.
You know, I went ahead and I gave Brian deletability.
Okay.
But
And
not
again,
Jim.
that's okay.
Oh,
Jim, you do not have it yet. I'm
or
sorry.
anybody else.
But here's the thing. I like that because honestly, I look at it like this. If I don't have deletability, I really can't screw up anything too badly.
Right.
Because in the big scope of life, it's not that big of a deal. Now, you're probably updating or not updating, backing it up every night. And if you're not, you definitely should be doing that.
I'm pretty sure we are because our
It's
IT
automated.
person should have done that
Okay.
when the instructions came through.
So God forbid something horrible happens, like you deleted an entire division of your library. What we would do is we would grab the backup from last night and just put it in. The
Right.
caveat to that is that anything you did from that point forward is gone. So if you guys were working all day and you deleted something, well, you'd have to weigh, is it important enough that I would lose everything I worked on all day? At this point in your lives, you're still kind of playing a little bit, so it probably would. But as long as you don't have deletability, we don't have to worry about it. The other thing I would say is I noticed that we've pulled in some library items and they're not assigned to vendors yet. So I definitely want to get that done. It's very
I got a list from our current purchase program, but it does not spit it out in any kind of Excel, CVS, or any kind of format. So instead of going through and trying to just manually type that stuff in, I went to our accounts payable person and said, hey, can you do this for me? So
Okay.
she will get the vendors list to me, hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow. I've already got all of our companies or our customers imported. I did that earlier today. So now it's vendors.
Okay. And then once you get the vendors in, you want to mass link them all to your library items. You remember how to do that?
Nope.
Yeah, let's do that.
That was way back in the beginning.
It was way back in the beginning. It was actually day one. So yeah, I can get why you wouldn't remember that. So let's go up to define.
I just want to make the purchasers do it.
And come down to link vendors. Wow, they have a lot of breaks.
That's the end of the day for some.
Well,
I was going to say, we haven't even had a break, and they're on number 2? But yeah.
no, this would be a normal end of the day if it was an 8-hour shift. So we have buzzers that go off for every break, every shift end, yada, yada.
Yeah. So you guys start at 5?
6.
Gotcha.
And we're working 10s this week, so they won't be out of here till 4:30.
Yeah, we used to work 9s with a half-hour lunch. And we worked 4 9s, and then on Friday we would work 4 hours unless they were working overtime. So it was kind of nice because they just had to extend their Friday then if we were working overtime. Now every once in a blue moon we'd really need them to go into Saturday as well and work.
Every once in a while we'll do Saturdays. Like on the schedule this week it says Saturday. Possible.
Yeah. But I would have always liked to do 10s, but we had enough people that we noticed they did not perform after 8, really. We had a half an hour of kind of crap on every single day.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, wow, come on, baby. I don't even remember what we clicked.
Vendor.
Oh, thanks. I like totally lost my train of thought there.
There it
Okay,
is.
so pull the box down so we can see everything. Yeah, just make it a little bigger. Perfect. So what we would do is we'd start at the top. We'd add our first vendor for adhesives, let's say. And there's probably no one in there, so just go ahead and click add vendors and pick somebody. It doesn't really matter. We're not going to really do it. Unless you have a vendor in there for adhesives. Just hit your search button for me and just pick anybody. Like I said, we're not going to really do it. So you would add all the different vendors that you could buy, say, adhesives from. And then you would click on the adhesives, and you could do one of 2 things. You could drag the entire thing over, or you can open it up a notch. And let's say you buy Contact, General, and Heat from one guy, and then you buy press from somebody totally different, you would actually drag those 3 individuals. But if you buy all your adhesives from one, just drag the entire adhesives over to the right, let it go. Now again, if you look at this and you go, wow, I do not buy yellow glue from this guy, crap, I can't have that in there, highlight it, hit remove, take it out. A lot easier than trying to figure it all out. Once you're done, do not do this, but once you are done, you will click that link vendors to library items, and that will link all those guys to that. Again, if you buy sheet goods from 5 guys, throw all 5 vendors up top there and drag your sheet goods in.
Okay.
Okay, so you'll get it done really, really fast. The neat part about doing that is then when you go to call to get your updated pricing, you can actually get updated pricing for all 5 of those people at one time, kind of. So, okay, all right. So yeah, you guys are doing great. I'm about ready to push you in the pool. You're doing fantastic. Woo! So so we will. What's our next scheduled time?
Friday at 2.
Okay, so Friday at 2. We're gonna. I've got you at 10 o'clock. Nope, I got you at 3 o'clock my time. You're right. Okay, so we'll do that one, and then we might want to decide about the following week. Now, is anyone taking off the following week?
Brian.
Yeah.
Okay. So
if we can use that as our break week and actually, you know, like Jim can go ahead and do bids in.
I can do bids all week and somebody else can do emails.
No, I'm not doing email. Don't look at me.
I didn't say email.
all right. So the week of the 3rd then with the 4th of July in there, you want to not do those trainings, right?
Correct.
All right. And then we'll do our next one. The following week we'll meet, and we might only want to meet once. We'll see how we feel. We'll meet on Tuesday, and then we'll decide. And then the week of the 17th, I'm actually going to be on vacation. So and we might get to the point now where we're doing it like every other week type of thing, or at least only once a week.
Are we out of time almost, or?
You are.
Today we're at an hour and a half.
Today you're at an hour and a half. You were at 4 1/4 left. So yeah, we're getting to the end.
Okay.
So we're gonna do Tuesday.
Tuesday at 1 o'clock our time.
And do you guys want to meet on this Friday still, or do you want to not meet this Friday?
I don't think.
I don't really think we need to.
Okay, I would agree with you guys that I think we can probably take Friday off, and we'll just
meet on the 10th.
We'll take Friday off. We're going to take the 3rd and the 6th off, and we're going to reconvene on the 10th. I'm going to leave the 13th on the calendar just in case you guys are feeling funky, but we'll pull it on the 10th if you don't want it.
Okay.
All right. Cool. All right. I'm super proud of you guys. You're doing fantastic.
Thank you. And we will see you after the holiday. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I even plugged my pocket back there.